It's time to talk a little bit of NFL football now that we have established guidelines for returning back to training camp. This is your Pub Sports Radio Hot Topic of the Day. I'm Donnie Seymour, and this is your Pub Sports Radio Hot Topic of the Day. The NFL set parameters when teams can return to training camp, and it looks like if we take a look, July 28th for the majority of the NFL teams, but the teams that are playing in the early season games, specifically the opening night Thursday game to start the NFL season, and also the Hall of Fame game preseason game, those four teams are going to report on July 22nd. They are Houston, Kansas City, Dallas, and Pittsburgh. As I said, the rest of the NFL will return back on July 28th. But the reason we wanted to bring this up as a hot topic, because if we're taking a look at this virtual offseason that we've had in the NFL, players aren't congregating at the facilities and working out on their own. The old premise of NFL coaches, even college coaches and high school coaches, specifically in football, they want to be around their players as much as possible and have as much control as they can as possible throughout the year, meaning a lot of practices. You have mandatory, off-season training activities, voluntary off-season training activities, mandatory mini camps. Now heading into the actual training camp season, we'll see with most of these teams getting 6 to 7 weeks to prepare before they actually take the field to start the NFL season. And from looking back in the past, as we know, the NFL players want less of that control from the coaches throughout the remainder of the calendar. This season with the virtual offseason, not getting those mandatory OTAs, let's see if we can get to training camp, get the 6 to 7 weeks in, and have a clean NFL season. That's going to be a lot to behold over the next 5 to 10 years as the CBA plays out, when players realize, wait a second, why were we practicing and showing up mandatory? Maybe you live in Houston, but you work in Philadelphia, obviously playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Or you live in Arkansas and you're flying back to play for the New York Giants. If you don't need those mandatory mini camps and also OTAs, what's the point of that? Less wear and tear on the body, which is what the NFL players want to help extend the longevity of their playing careers. This is a really interesting time. I'm hoping everything goes out without a hitch and, of course, get a clean 2020 season in. But from a player's perspective, this is big. If everything goes really well and heading into the season and they can complete a season, this is going to be interesting to watch, because over the next couple years, those players aren't going to want to return to those mandatory OTAs and voluntary OTAs that the coaches certainly want over these football players. This will be interesting to watch, but let's get football back on the field, and we finally have a starting date, and hopefully my Philadelphia Eagles can certainly have a good season in 2020. This is PubSportsRadio.com. I'm Donnie Seymour, and this was your Hot Topic of the Day.